Your new baby snake just won't eat. I'm going to show you how to change this pet keeping nightmare into the dream scenario that it always was meant to be. Getting new baby snakes is one of the best feelings in the world, but it can quickly turn into literally one of the worst feelings in the world if they refuse to eat. Now, whether you're a buyer and you've tried everything from talking to the breeder about the setups and trying different food sources, or you're the breeder and you've hatched a gorgeous clutch of bouncing baby snakes after having chosen, raised the parents, watched them incubate, or even incubated on your own, all to produce amazing, healthy babies that then decide apparently they just want to die. To make matters even worse, some people, like our Patreon member Jesse, have taken their issues to the internet and gotten advice like this.
It got to the point where it was concerning enough that I really started doing some research. There was a pretty big consensus that you just allow the babies that don't eat to die off naturally. I put too much time and effort into that to allow that to happen. I don't think it's the right thing to do, so I wasn't willing to give up that easy.
Now, at first glance, I guess this makes sense. I mean, the goal is to have these animals be a part of our lives as basically an early form of domestication. But I think if today years old me told 6 years old me that I plan to create all this new life just to kill most of it, I would probably slap myself. I would hope that there's a better way. And the good news is, there is. And it has everything to do with how you look at the natural behaviors of the animals we live with. You see, domestication shouldn't be the elimination of those natural behaviors. Heck, watching our animals do what they're good at is why a lot of us got the animals in the first place. I mean, look at dogs. Dogs have been one of the most useful species of animals to mankind for a tremendous amount of time. And it's not because we took away every behavior that wasn't human. It's that by forging a relationship with them, we were able to extend our ability by borrowing from their strengths. Over the years, they have been a form of family protection, transportation, and they are literally emotional support system for us. You see, when we learn how to live alongside the natural behaviors and tap into the strengths of the animal world around us, it brings a tremendous reward and balance to our lives that's hard to get any other way. So let me give you 3 steps on how you can use their natural behaviors in your favor when it comes to feeding them an artificial diet rather than giving up on them from the start. Now, I'm going to process a prey item and assist feed a snake. If you don't want to watch this part, consider this your warning. It's going to be graphic. Skip to this part of the video right here. To make sure that you can actually see what's going on, we're going to have Jeremy filming this up close so you can get every detail, for better or for worse. Now, step 1 is going to be process your prey item. We want this little guy to learn how to eat rats, so we're actually going to take a big jumbo rat and not use the whole thing. We're just going to use its tail. Sorry, Mom. Now, this is a great item for a lot of reasons. First of all, because it's readily available and it's free. Secondly, because we are trying to train the snake that this smell, this scent equals food and a full belly by using a piece of the actual prey item we want him to grow into eating. This is actually going to help start that training process. And the third and final reason has to do with the specific makeup of a rodent tail. See, this rat tail actually has hairs that start growing out at the base of the tail and point backwards down towards the tip of the tail, and they actually make up hundreds and even thousands of tiny little barbs, meaning it's very easy to compress or slide them this way, like when you're petting your dog or cat, but it's hard to get them to slide in the other direction, which is going to keep our little buddy from spitting it out too quickly. Now, like I said, we want to use the thicker part of the tail because it's about the correct thickness for the snake, but we don't need too much of it here. About 1.5 inches is all we're going to need per snake. Oh, gross. Nice and crunchy. And here we have the perfect force feed item. This is going to get his digestive system going. At this point, we're just trying to save the little guy before he loses any more weight. Step 2, we're going to actually force feed the animal. So the first part of this is you want to make sure that your item, in this case the rat tail, is lubricated. And ours was thawed in water. It's very wet, so it should slide easily down the gullet. We're going to take the snake and we need to support its body, but also straighten it out. So what I'm going to do is just kind of undo the little bends of the animal and very gently hold this part of his body straight. You can still see he's not under any stress or anything like that. And we want to keep it that way as much as possible. Now this rat tail is kind of like a corn dog where it's got a stick in the center that is the vertebrae. And we're going to use that bone to actually pry the mouth open gently, quickly, with intention and confidence. So right about where the tongue pulls out, I can insert that bone, and then you can kind of gently twist right back into the back of the throat. Now the back of the throat of the snake is not the little tube on the bottom that extends forward that they breathe through. It's just straight down the largest hole in the back. Because of the stiff structure of the tail, it shouldn't be too difficult to actually press it right in there. You can use tongs to get it in there, but you're not trying to press it down too far. You basically just want to get it to the point where the snake can close his mouth around it. And here's where the hairs should start doing their trick. What I want to do is basically stop him from moving backwards. If he's going to move backwards, he'll try to spit it out, although the hairs are going to do their job in that circumstance. Instead, I want him to move forward and just give him a second to think about it, and he may actually start to swallow the meal on his own. At this point, as long as he's moving forward, you can probably place him back inside of his enclosure and give him some privacy so that he can finish swallowing on his own. This is going to be a great food item for him to naturally form a little coil and just press it all the way down into his stomach. And what we're seeing here is that even though he didn't take the food, he hasn't learned how to grab and bite it on himself, he definitely wants to survive, and he has learned how to swallow it on his own. Good job, buddy. Yes. And then finally, we have step 3, the training process. A decent sized meal like that would take 3 to 4 days to actually digest, and then you want to re-offer. The important thing is to pick your interval, let's say every 4 or 5 days, and do it every single time. If you do this multiple times in a row, they will start to get hungry on that same schedule. And by doing this on those regular intervals, they're going to actually develop an appetite that kicks in on that same interval. And that is the secret to getting them to eat on their own. 2 or 3 intervals of assist feeding like this, and they should have the beginnings of an appetite. Before you try to assist feed them as a last resort, you want to offer a nice, small, unintimidating prey item. Now, when you offer that prey item, it's important to disturb the animal as little as possible. And then when you do go to offer it, there are 3 main methods that we use to trigger those natural instincts and help them learn on their own. Those 3 methods are the side-to-side touch, the constant pressure, and if neither of those work, the final method is to trigger defensiveness, where you can try to get him to be so angry that he bites and wraps this prey item to punish it, and then stops to think, maybe I'll swallow it while I'm here. We actually have an entire video with a deep dive into these methods, so if you need more of that, check out the video here. I know it's easier said than done, but with patience, your hard efforts will pay off.
So these are some babies from my June clutch. They took to it very well. They ate on their own after 1 assist feeding. Some of them took a few more. As you can see, they're all thriving. I'm very glad I went that way and did not just allow them to starve to death. You can check these babies out for yourself on my Front Range Instagram.
So guys, it's only through working together. The carnal side of the animals is what provides their physical ability, and the spiritual side of us humans is what allows us to see the priorities and agendas that will help us achieve a better future. If you guys want to join in and see more stuff like this, make sure to give us a subscription. If you'd love to be a part of the conversation like Jesse, join our Patreon. And ultimately, if you're the kind of person that would love to share their lives with something as wonderful as one of these little baby snakes, contact us below and let us know.